It's that time again, story time. I said I was going to tell y'all this story. It's actually not a story, it's my life. But here it go. Keep in mind, this was in the early 90s, and I'm 61 years old right now, so I probably won't remember every little detail, but we going to get into it. Oh, now what's Am? How you? How your mom and them? Let's go. This is the story about my first baby mama, or my first children's mother. Let's say that. Um, and this is just my recollections. This is my opinion. This is my point of view. Everything is all mine. Now I'm sure she has a different side, or she know a different. You know they say there's always three sides to a story: your side, my side, and the truth. But anyway, I'm gonna share my side of the story. And I said I would never tell this story to my children, and I don't think they'll see this, and I'm actually hoping they don't. Well, if they see it, they see it. They're not children, they grown. But basically, I said I would never tell the story to them. You know what I mean? In other words, I would never badmouth their mother. And I mean that. I, I, I stand on that. I stick to that. Because there's been times where I've talked to them and I could have just said, you know what, but I didn't want to do that because, again, like I said in one of my other videos, that ain't cool. I mean, nobody better not say nothing bad about my mama. And so I ain't going to say nothing bad about somebody else's mama to them. You know what I'm saying? That's your mama, and that you know how that go. Anyway, let's get into it. So back in 1990, I was separated from, well, actually, I was married to my first wife, and we were moving to California. My mother had already moved out there. I had some other family members out there, all that kind of different stuff, right? And so obviously, I'm a singer and I do stuff like that. So I moved out there to try to do that side of life. Long story short, I move out there. Me and my first wife don't work out. We separate. I move back to Louisiana, to New Orleans. And while I'm in New Orleans, I meet this other girl, right? Well, I think I had already met the girl. I didn't really know her, but I met her before. And so I hook up with her. So me and her start dating and whatever. But keep in mind, this girl is married but separated for some years. I think she's still separated till this day. I mean, I think she's still married till this day, but that's a whole nother story. That not to put nobody's business out. But anyway, back to this. So one point I'm going back to California, and back then, and I don't fly, so I'm on the bus or either the train. So this time I'm on the bus, Greyhound. And I meet and I see these people, right? I see it's two young ladies and a few kids or whatever. Long story short, the she approached me, right? And we exchanged numbers and everything. We talk, and then we get to LA, and then we keep in touch, obviously. We hooked up a few times. Like I said before, not hooked up. But we was talking on the phone and got together a couple times and went to the beach and get something to eat, something like that. Right? So now, mind you, I'm married, but I'm separated, and my wife at the time, she knew about everything or whatever because we separated. And so we having all of these different conversations. You know how in the beginning you talk about every little thing. So I always said, some kind of way we got on the subject about kids. I was in my early 30s, I think, and I didn't have any kids yet. She had a son, which didn't bother me because I was still cool with that. But anyway, so I had my take on that was that when I do have kids, I want to have my children by the same woman, just like my parents. I had uh, my parents were together until my dad passed. When I was 18 years old, he passed. He was young, but he passed when I was 18. So that's what I knew, mama and daddy all the time. Anyway, that's the life I wanted to provide for my children because I know how close me and my brother was with my dad. We was like brothers. But anyway, moving forward, moving on. So we had this conversation a few times, right? So now, fast forward a little bit, we talking, and then I'm digging her. I ain't lying, I'm into her, and she was bad. She was fine. She was fine. I ain't gonna lie. You ever heard that old saying, stallion? She was a stallion, like they say, built like a brick house, a house. I ain't gonna say it, but she was bad. But anyway, moving along. So now, remember I said I was dating somebody in New Orleans. So I get a call from her, and she's telling me the situation. She's pregnant, but she's pregnant in her tube, and I'm feeling some kind of way because I'm like, I mean, because we didn't break up on bad terms. We just broke up because I was leaving, going back to California. And we knew that it wasn't going long term relationship. I mean, long distance relationships don't really work like that. So we wasn't trying to make no promises to each other that I'ma still be your man, you gonna still be my woman and all of that kind of stuff. So anyway, now we in the present where she's pregnant but in her tubes. She gotta have a surgery, a tubal ligation, whatever they call it, if that's the right term for it. And so I tell her, well, I'm coming home. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming home because we cool like that. You know what I'm saying? And I had some feelings for her. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I ain't gonna let you go through that by yourself because it's part. I played my part in that as well. But anyway, she was like, nah, that's too much for you to do. You don't have to do that and all of that stuff. I'm cool. I just wanted to let you know. And so I was like, okay, but when I found out, I had told the other girl, the first baby mama the one that I had met going to California, I had told her that, I told her about the situation and I said I'm thinking about going home, you know, and because this is the situation. But this was before the other one told me, don't worry about it, don't come. I got it under control, everything cool, I'll be all right, blase blase. So now we talking about now the whole conversation changed because now it's all about me leaving and going home. Now, mind you, we ain't done nothing. We ain't smashed. We ain't slept. We ain't did nothing. I mean, other than maybe go eat somewhere or go to the beach a couple of times, whatever. Talk on the phone. I go see her and stuff like that. But now she on this she on some different type of stuff because she's saying, well, if you gonna go home, the least you could do is give me what I asked for. Now I'm 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 excuse me, I ain't gonna say I'm green, but I don't know what's going on. Cause that I must have missed that part. So anyway, I'm like, well, what you talking about? What you mean give you what you asked for? The least you could do is give me what I asked for. Come to find out, this girl wanted to have a baby by me. Now we done had all these conversations about how I don't, I don't want to have children that by everybody and children everywhere and all of that. And you already got a son and I'm about to leave out of town. And what that's gonna be. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And so, like I say, we already done had all of these conversations about this and all of that kind of stuff. And so I'm like, where did that come from? And what's the point? I mean, I ain't all of that. I ain't had no money. I ain't had no. I mean, I am who I am, and I guess my personality is cool, or the way I was raised, or whatever it was. Being from the South, and but she was actually from the South too. They were just living in California for a long time. Long story short, I'm blow. I don't know what's going on. All right, so we moved past that. Then like I say, I had the conversation with the other girl at home, and she was like, "Don't worry about it. I'm good. I just wanted to let you know," and all that kind of stuff. So now, um, at that point, now I'm like, okay, well, she don't want me to come. Not that she don't want me to come, but she was like, "No, I'm cool. I can handle it. Whatever." So me and the other girl, we start getting a little closer, right? And again, don't get me wrong, I was feeling her, I was digging her. So we start getting a little closer. And so put two and two together and you got three. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm talking about. So then we finally went on and did whatever we did. But here's the thing about that. And granted, LA is different from New Orleans. Trust me when I tell you, the women, or let's say the women out there are different. Even the dudes too, because they got this thing about, let's just say this. I ain't never had a woman ask me, "Do you want to get a room?" until I moved to LA. Yeah, why not? You know what I'm saying? And let me don't be, I'm not making jokes about people, but I'm just saying that was the reality of it. And keep that in mind now, because that's gonna come back. That's gonna come back. That's gonna come back at the other part of the story. So it's like, okay, we've been kicking it, and I ain't really push up on her like that because that's not who I was at the time. Now, did I want to? Of course I did, but I'm trying to be a gentleman and be who I am and be the way I was taught and all of that. Move forward. We do that. That happened. Next thing you know, about a week later, or so, a week or two, probably the first week, if I'm not mistaken, she telling me, "I think I'm pregnant," and I'm like, it ain't been that long. You know what I'm saying? And she's saying, "Well, I know my body," stuff like that. So we go on, and I'm gonna tell you now, I wasn't really tripping because, again, I think I was in my late 20s or early 30s, and I didn't have any kids yet. So I'm cool because I actually wanted children, but I just wanted them in a different situation. Like, the whole marriage and children and same daddy, same mama, same house, all that. But obviously it didn't work out that way. But anyway, moving along. Um, so come to find out she was. And I'm excited. I'm ecstatic. I'm all of that, right? So now we together. I mean together. And so um I go to a few doctor visits with her and stuff like that, but then I missed a couple. I don't think I missed like three or four of them, but I missed a couple of them. And she was feeling some kind of way. Not only that, it was other little stuff that was going on in between that time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how you get to know a person and then that person can be a little bit controlling or certain things like that, but I can't do that. I ain't gonna be able to do that one. You know what I'm saying? I can give a little bit, but I can't let you do that to me. That's just who I am. Anyway, like I say, this was all the different stuff in between that time. So eventually I think she had to be about 4 months pregnant or so. and we was kind of like on the rock, like, you know what I'm saying, not doing so good. But I'm still like, okay, I'm still in it to win it, right? But we ain't doing so good because now we arguing about shit that don't make no sense. Well, it don't make no sense to me, and then the other shit that makes sense to me don't make sense to her. But in my opinion, she just couldn't control me like she wanted to, or make me do what she wanted me to do, or whatever. That's my opinion and my point of view. Anyway, so now we arguing and we beefing now. And she like, you know what? You I can't remember the exact words she say, but basically, um, this ain't work. This ain't working out, and you act like you don't want to be a part of this, and you act like this, and you act like that. You know, it's funny how people can tell you what you want and what you don't want, or you act like you don't want to do all of that kind of stuff. But anyway, so now we kind of break up or not go our separate ways, but we got to understand, and all right, you good, I'm good. We going to just take care of this baby or whatever. But now she mad, and she know, because of all of the conversations we had, she know how I feel about having a baby, right? Because I'm all excited. I'm all in. Excuse me. I'm all in. And um, so now she start hitting me with, yeah, well, you'll never see this baby and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, bro, why we gotta go there? Like, why it's gotta be that? We was cool up until we wasn't cool, but now all of a sudden, first off, you just had to have a baby by me. Now you got one. How you gonna do it like that? But anyway, keep it moving. So now she's supposed to be supposedly left town. Cause remember I told you she was from the South too. I'm not gonna say where, but she was from the South too. So she supposedly left town to go where her mother was or where she was from or whatever. And now that I think back about it in retrospect, she wasn't going nowhere. But I didn't know that because if you say you out, you out. All I want to know is about the baby. But you got this thing now that you're gonna use this baby to hurt me because you know that's the only thing you can use to hurt me. And it did. I'm not gonna even stunt. I'm not gonna lie, man. I ain't gonna front. It messed me up. I'm just gonna tell you that. Till this day it messed me up. But let's move forward. So anyway, by the time she want during the time she was supposed to be gone, from 4 months to the time she had the baby, I done moved on. That's how I get the second baby mama. Right? No. Don't get me I'm wrong. No, I'm not wrong. I did move on. So I done moved on to the second baby mama, but she ain't pregnant yet. So anyway, she comes back, so to speak. And when she come back, she called me. Hey, I had the baby and I was thinking about it, and I decided that if you want to come see the baby, you can come see the baby. I don't know what changed her mind or what. Now, mind you, this was at least 4 or 5 months, right? And thinking back on it, I kept getting phone, like somebody just all the time was calling me and hanging up, calling me, wouldn't say nothing and hanging up. And now that I think about it, it probably was her. But anyway, excuse me. So I go and see the baby, and I'm in love. I mean, a love that a love that I ain't never felt before, other than my mama. But it was even different from that type of love. You know what I'm saying? But it's baby, right? And mind you, I'm still with this other girl. You know, we like semi together, kicking it, but we not like 100% saying we exclusive, but we together because she the only one I'm messing with at the time, and y'all know what I mean by messing with. Move past that. So now I done fell in love with this baby, And I don't know what I was thinking about, but I go and tell the other girl I'm gonna get back with her because I want to make it work for the baby. That's what I felt, and that was messed up. I know. Well, I don't think it was messed up because my intentions were to be there as a family. You know what I mean? But this other girl, she pissed off. She hot. She hot as fish grease. She mad. She pissed, and rightfully so. So, did I tell you? Like, I think I did, but I'm gonna say it again if in case I didn't. Remember the first time we slept together, she got pregnant, and remember I kept telling y'all this the first one. Remember I kept telling you. Well, remember I told you she said like within the first week or two that I think I'm pregnant. Anyway, keep all of that in mind. So now we move forward and we back together. But it's not good. It's you know what I'm saying? It's not good at all because it just ain't working. And the child probably shouldn't have been the reason why we got back together because we should have known before that we wasn't compatible or gonna be good for each other or whatever the situation was at the time. So now I get back with her and we on and off because it's like I said, it ain't good. And some kind of way, me and her not really together because we didn't beefed out again. And I'll go back to the other girl. I'm back with the other, not, but I'm dipping. Let's just say that, right? So now come to find out she pregnant again. And now the other girl pregnant because the babies was born. My second baby was born in June, and my middle baby for the other woman was born in September. Right? So y'all do the math. I can't wreck my brain like that. But I just say I was dipping because everything wasn't good, which ain't no excuse, and it wasn't right. But that's what it was. So they was pregnant at the same time. So now me and her still beefing, so we ain't really together. But I'm still there for the children, right? And then um I'm at the hospital with her, the first person, the first girl, and everything good. I stay at the hospital all night. She had the baby. I cut the thing and all of that. And that was the first one I was able to do because the other one, remember, she was gone. I was supposed to be gone, and I didn't even wasn't there for her to be born. Anyway, keep moving. So now I leave the hospital right in the morning after the baby was born and all of that. I've been there all night walking the aisles with her so she could dilate or whatever you call it, and finally went into did whatever. The baby came. So I leave the hospital, and mind you, this is the early '90s, so we got pages. So my pager blowing up right after I leave the hospital. So I'm like, damn, what's up? Oh man, don't tell me something wrong. And so I pull over, stop at a phone booth, and call her. That's her calling me from the hospital. You better tell that so and so to quit calling me. I just had a baby and she doing this and she, bruh. When I tell you drama, I mean drama. Matter of fact, ever since then, I ain't want to see, hear, or think about no drama in my life. Trust me when I tell you. And I ain't never been like a player type dude or cheating all over the place. But when that happened, that was like that ain't happening no more. But anyway, let's keep moving. So, so anyway, we keep going. Oh, I missed a part. Let me go back. So when we get back together, man, the first girl, when we get back together, she tells me the whole story. That, and like I said, that's why I say remember certain parts that I said before. But she tells me the whole story that like I didn't never leave. I was still here. and she was telling me stuff that I did while she was supposedly gone, like she they call it stalking now, like she was really just stalking me, but I didn't know. She started telling me places I had been and all kind of. I'm like, damn, I she knew all of that, right? But anyway, she told me that first child was planned. I planned that. I planned it. I that's why she asked me, "Do you want to get it?" Because she knew that was the time or whatever. And I ain't gonna even lie. I mean, I'm not saying it to be funny or try to, you know what I'm saying. But I was super fertile back then. My bad. I said fertile, but I meant potent. Because women are fertile, men are potent. I don't know where I get that from. But anyway, y'all know what I'm talking about. Because it was on and popping. It was on and popping. Like I said, every time me and her first got back together, like the first time I slept with her, she got pregnant. The when we got back together on the second baby, she got pregnant. It was like it was happening. And on my third baby, not saying she was an accident, because I love them all the same. But excuse the expression, but the protection, bro, it didn't work. Y'all know I don't want to get too deep in it, but just say that to say I was fertile. But anyway, she had told me about all of that, a whole bunch of stuff that had happened and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, how she would know that if she wasn't here? But anyway, so yeah, she had planned that first one, the one that I kept saying. She was telling me the least you could do is give me what I asked you. And what she was asking me was to give her a baby or whatever. But she said she had planned it. She knew what time, this was after we got back together. This was after we got back together. She had, excuse me, y'all. This was after we got back together. She had told me all of that stuff she had planned and everything like that. Now, mind you, I'm not even mad at the time because, again, I'm in love. This baby is like the best thing in the world for me. So I ain't even mad. You planned it. It is what it is. I'm just grateful to have the baby. And she beautiful and I love her and everything like that, right? So going back to after the hospital situation and all of that, I just had to put that in because I think I had missed that. Going back to that part, after all of that happened, and then me and her, like I said, me and her had been cut loose from each other, but I just thought we were gonna be able to co-parent. And then uh fast forward, I meet my ex-wife. This is the third baby mama, but like I said, I married her. She's my ex-wife now, but I married her. I meet her and she get pregnant with my son. The last and I'm going somewhere with that. The last conversation we had was after my son was born. But even that was a little bit of a mess, right? That whole I'll tell you that story another time. So I get a call. And mind you, we live in the same building at the time because me and my sister lived together in the same building that her and her sister live in. So it's nothing for me to go over there after work or after I do finish hustling, whatever I was doing. It's nothing for me to go over there. And I was doing that, like going over there and playing with the babies and bringing stuff and stuff like that, right? So then she feels some kind of way and she hear about, and so anyway, back to that day when my after my son was born, she called me and she say, I'm just calling you to tell you congratulations on your son. Let me take that back. I was actually calling her that day to find out where the kids were because I called and her sister told me I'm gonna have her to call you. It's like they didn't want to tell me nothing because I was trying to find out where she had already been sent them away. And I was trying to call and find out where they were. But then when her sister wouldn't say nothing, she called me later, and that's when we was having the conversation. And that's what she started with. Congratulations on your son. And then we started talking, and then she was like, because I was asking them asking her what's up with the babies. And she was like, don't worry about them. Go ahead, you just deal with the ones you got and all that kind of stuff. And that was crazy to me. And she had already said a lot before. Whatever woman have your son is the one you're gonna probably end up with. I don't know why she kept saying that all the time. I just don't know why. But she was into some different stuff anyway, because she used to always tell me, oh, somebody got roots on you, and somebody got this, and somebody. And it might have been her, but I can't say. I don't know. Anyway, let's go past that. So this particular day, she called me. She tell me, I heard you had your son. Congratulations on your son. Then we talking, we having a conversation. And next thing you know, the conversation just go left. It just blow up. And next thing you know, she tell me, which is one of the last things I remember because I just blew up after that. And I'm not proud of that, but I got anger issues and that pushed me over the limit. Last thing I remember her telling me, you just how she say, you just raise your other kids and don't worry about these. And in my mind, here you go again with that bullshit. Now you ain't gonna never see them and she said it. Don't worry about these no more. You go deal with them and that's it. And that was the last time I saw them. But just keep in mind that it was early in the day when I talked to her. And by the time my sister got home, it was dark. The phone was broke up in the middle of the floor, and I was just sitting in the chair, kind of out of it. I was so pissed off. I was so mad and hurt and everything. Right? Why we got to do this? You feel me? Anyway, that was the last conversation I ever had with her, and my youngest babe, not the youngest, yeah, the youngest out of them two, was about a month or two old, and I didn't see them. I didn't hear from them again until they had to be teenagers or in their early 20s. And then I saw them. They came down I talked to them on the phone a few times, but then they came down. My mother always have this Christmas Eve thing. So everybody else can go be with their families on Christmas Day. She always have Christmas Eve at her house. Anyway, long story short, they came down last year or the year before. No, last year. Last year Christmas. It's 2025 now. They came down in 23, Christmas 23. They came down and bought the kids, and it was great. It was a beautiful time. But that's how that happened. And for a lot of years, I was pissed off. I was hurt. It was a lot. I was pointing the finger like she did it all. I got to take my lick because I played a part in it. You know what I mean? And I know a lot of people will say, well, why didn't you look for him? Or why didn't you do this? Or why you didn't pay for a lawyer? At the time, number one, I ain't had nothing to go get no lawyer. Number two, we didn't really have social media like we have now or the internet like we have now. And number three, I was just so frustrated and mad, I really didn't know what to do. And to be honest with you, not to be no bitch or nothing, excuse the expression, but all I could do most of the time was cry all the time. Like I used to, on my mama, I used to just sit up sometimes and think about that shit and just cry. Like, man, why would this girl do this to me? But I did it to myself too. You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't safe and you know what I'm saying? So I'm saying all of this to say, because I know what people gonna think. Well, why you didn't just cover it up? Why you even mess with her? Why you did? And all of that's true, because I asked myself that. But do I regret it? No, because I love my children. They'll never know how much I love them. And the biggest problem in that situation is that even though, yes, you hurt me bad, because that's what you was trying to do. It hurt them worse. And that's the problem. You understand? Because all they know is my daddy didn't want us. They said to me that they understood when they first got in contact with me, they said to me that, well, my oldest one, because the youngest out of the two, she was pissed. And rightfully so. But the oldest one, she said, we understand that you just wasn't ready, which wasn't the truth. Like I said before in the other video, that was the furthest thing from the truth. But obviously, that's what they were told. You know what I'm saying? And so that's how that went. So like I say, I'm glad to be back in their lives. I know it's not the same because they were raised by somebody else, and he was their dad, and I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? And I've learned, like I say, I've learned to take my lick and my part in it because I was young and I wasn't thinking. And like I say, I ain't had nothing. But now that I can think about it in retrospect, it's always 2020. You know what I mean? Because maybe I could have went through the same people who helped me to get my first divorce, where I didn't have to pay a whole lot of money, or I was able to make payments or whatever. I wasn't thinking about all of that. You know what I mean? So in my mind, I just believed what she said. You'll never see these kids. And she said that to me multiple times. But again, that's not to bash her. That's just to say what happened. Right. And so that's the gist of it. And like I said, now that I'm older and I think about it, more, what's the word? Um, I think about it not just one way, not just my way, you know what I'm saying? Or not just what happened to me, but I try to think about it in other ways too. I played my part just like she played her part. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, I don't regret none of my kids. I don't regret their mothers, to be honest with you, because I still pray for them today. Because if it had not been for them, I wouldn't have my kids, my children. You know what I mean? And no matter what way they come, they're blessings. You know what I mean? Sometimes we get blessings in different ways that we never would understand, or that we feel like, well, maybe because I always say no. Maybe and I'm going to tell y'all that story another time. I have said that maybe if I would have stayed with the woman who is my wife right now, maybe if I would have stayed with her as a kid and grew with her, I wouldn't have all of these issues and problems. But then I wouldn't have the children that I have either. So we got to take the good with the bad, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So I know this video is way too long, but I just wanted to tell y'all that story. And to be honest with you, I don't know what it was about that. I still to this day can't understand. Now again, I don't see myself the way other people see me. But at the same time, that can't be that important. I mean, that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. You know what I mean? But for whatever reason, she had to have a baby by me, and she ended up with two, or we ended up with two. And I'm glad they came. I just wish they would have came a different way. You understand? Not even that they would have came a different person, that they just can't, not even that they would have came from a different person, because I don't hate her. I just wish there would have been a different situation, but we could do that all day. wishing and if I coulda, shoulda, woulda, and all of that kind of stuff. But again, thank God for them. Thank God for their parents. Thank God for the people who helped raise them when I wasn't there. You know what I mean? So I'm just glad that right now we're able to have a relationship. It's not the greatest, and I can't expect that to be. You understand? So I said that in another video. I can't expect it. The main thing for me is that they're well. The main thing for me is that they're doing better. And the main thing for me is that one day maybe they'll have the answers that they're looking for. If they ask me, I'll tell them. I ain't going to tell them nothing bad about their mother, but I'll tell them from my point of view. You know what I mean? So anyway, if y'all like this kind of video, if you stayed to the end, I appreciate you. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe. You know what I mean? And talk to me in the comments. I'll talk back. You know what I'm saying? So thank y'all for watching, and y'all be easy. One love. I'll see you in the next one.